Welcome to Mostly Minutia. I'm Colleen Lindell, and this is episode 37, Make Space, Part 3. And if you're new to this podcast, or maybe you've just been on a little break the past month, you might want to back up a few episodes. And that's because this story is a trilogy. And what you're about to hear is Part 3 of that trilogy. So I named the story Make Space because it explores the challenges and the rewards of making space for another in one's life. What that space looks like, how you create it, and why preserving your own sense of space in the process is a must. As you'll learn from Kristen's story, sometimes that space can feel cramped and uncomfortable, but other times it's totally open, restorative, and, well, for lack of a better word, spacious. Part 2 of Make Space found Kristen Huffman struggling to find space in her new life in New York, where she had recently moved to join her partner. When Kristen and I talked, she was actually back in Los Angeles for a short visit, and for our final interview, I decided to go to her in New York. So let me set the scene for you. We're in New York, Washington Square Park to be precise, canopies of trees and walking paths. And this is definitely one of those open and spacious places. Kristen and I, we just got done dancing at one of her yoga booty ballet classes. And I have to say it was truly an honor and privilege to dance with her and her new comrades. Being in one of Kristen's classes is very similar to being in an incubator. New life, new growth. But it's also like going into battle. And Kristen is very fierce. And she's like a warrior mama leading our charge. So in the park, Kristen and I are sitting on lush green grass, which is a pleasure because I don't get to do that very often living in Los Angeles since there's just not much green space, sadly. To our left is a jazz band, which you'll hear. There are 2 people playing on the piano, and then to the right, a very contagious, plucky energy of a 28th birthday party. To date, it has been a little over a year and a half since Kristen and I last recorded this interview. Of course, I'm biased as to how things turned out, but here is our last conversation about making space.
Colleen, thanks for coming to New York to put a button on this podcast. Wrap it up. Tie it with a bow.
My pleasure.
You came all the way to New York.
I did, yeah.
And thank you for inviting me to do this because it's been really cool, the different points at which we've talked about life and how we're both feeling about it at the time, and giving me the opportunity to express how I feel about it at the beginning, smack dab in the middle, and like full circle 1 year later. Mm-hmm. It's been really lovely to be able to mark it like this, to literally record it.
I'm so glad you've wanted to do this. Because I feel like at any time you could have been like, you know what, Colleen, I don't want to be putting my life on record like this.
Well, I think I did. I think the halfway point, when I had a panic attack. Yeah, I had a straight up on mic moment where I was like, stop recording. Or I think I said like, I don't know if I can talk right now.
I said, are you okay? And you started shaking your head no. And you said, I feel like I'm panicking.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, let's just stop.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped recording.
Well, you're very great about all the questions you ask, and also the level of respect you have for who you're talking to. And you have made me feel so cool, just like so natural, and like, Kristen, tell me about this and tell me about that. And like, I don't know, it's just really sweet what you're doing. And you're full of compliments and you're full of joy. And so it's a pleasure to do something like this.
But it's like I feel like there's so many people who wouldn't want to put themselves in a place of vulnerability. I know you try to remain vulnerable and open. I feel like that's like a thing that you try to promote in your life.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I feel really appreciative because we didn't start this thinking. I just thought I was going to record you for an hour about dance.
Uh-huh.
I just had no idea that you were putting out into the universe that you were calling love into your life, and not just like any kind of love, but like a level 10, level 11 calling in your mate, your partner. And that just I feel like that changed everything. And the fact that you were in such a transition in your life, that you were literally uprooting your life.
Yeah.
Where you had been, to come plant roots in a place where you didn't know anybody.
Yeah. So I think and I want to speak to that because I think when you're falling in love, there are physiological shifts taking place so that you can make those decisions, so that you can take leaps.
Yeah.
And Marianne Williamson, who's a wonderful teacher, who I've been enjoying going to listen speak on Wednesday nights here in New York. She was in LA for many years and just moved to New York kind of at the same time I did. So it's kind of like this little personal gift. Let's talk about our spiritual paths.
Yeah.
Because she talks about A Course in Miracles. Are you familiar with it?
You asked me about that the other day. It's a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like a
it.
coursework in manifestation and cultivating a higher path. One thing that she says is, when people are falling in love and you experience oh my gosh, the colors are brighter, this tastes sweeter, life is good, I'm vibrating at a higher frequency. And then you get to the point in the relationship where quote unquote reality sets in, or people's old shit comes up. Fear starts knocking at the door, things like that. Which is the hallucination? Is it the love? Is it the connectedness? Is it the oneness? Is it the higher frequency? Or is it the fear that starts to threaten the well-being of this unity? And she votes for the latter, that really, when we're in love and experiencing love, this is closer to our true nature, but we are humans. We are here walking this part. So I'm happy to say that I'm proud of my story with my partner. I'm really proud of how I fell in love and our love story, but I'm more proud of the work that we've done to navigate the real part. I have a lot more pride and joy in knowing that even with all the stuff that can come up, that we have chosen to just keep going and keep trucking and to love. I've shifted the sails and I feel a new sense of ease. Today, I don't feel like I'm struggling, but there are so many days of the last year that my personal experience was struggling to form friendships. Relationships take time.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to say that I've developed new friendships that are so meaningful to me.
Yeah.
At the age of 35.
Yeah.
We kind of grow up and you're in school with this person, and then you're in high school, and then you're in college. The people that you spend those experiences with, those bonding experiences with, become your friends. Mm-hmm. And then when you're a grown adult, maybe it's in the workplace you make a friend or something like that.
Right.
And I don't have a conventional workplace. So drawing in people from other aspects of my life, the special people that have landed that I've been drawn to, it's really fascinating. At any given moment, we are able to connect with another person, create another friend. And the partnership is such a gift, because that partner is reflecting back on you all kinds of things that can be hard to see about yourself, that could use some refining into becoming your fullest, best self. That's why the last year has been kind of challenging too, because I think on an ego level, being able to look at these things and be where are all my tools?
Yeah.
Where are all my tools to deal with this tough stuff? Oh, it's really up to me. I can't just rely on my friends down the street or whatever. And it's easier to default to a place of loneliness. But all of that is still available.
I feel right now you are so unveiled, and I really like it. I don't even know how to say this, Kristen. I feel like you are just 100% you right now. Not that there were all these things covering you in Los Angeles, all these curtains or anything like that, or people or facades or anything like that. But I just feel like because everything was stripped away from you, I feel like it afforded you the gift to 100% shine Kristen.
Yeah, or like recalibrate and re-identify.
And prioritize or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
People are going to be able to see you because there's nothing that is standing in the way. Like, you are
Raw.
Completely, you're...
That's how I've felt. I have felt really raw. And that's been really hard. It's been hard at times just to be that raw, because even the littlest rub can hurt.
I feel like you've got major stamina.
Thank you.
Like, your feet are rooted.
Wow, thanks. That's a really nice thing to hear. When things feel like they've been spiraling, because I agree with you, at the moment, I do feel okay. I feel okay.
Can you talk about, because we were talking a few days ago, we were talking about, when there's a problem.
Uh-huh.
Like, you can't...
Oh, yeah, you can't meet a problem at the level of the problem. You have to rise above it. So you have to up-level. So you can't meet a problem at the level of the problem. You can't find a solution to a problem if you're meeting it at the same place. So you have to up-level to find that clarity.
Yeah. Choosing to love in the midst of utter frustration.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to just be... I mean, it's just so natural to get frustrated and to feel lost. I think another thing that we do as humans is just, like, step back and, like, point the finger at all the reasons why we're feeling a particular way. And when you're rising above that, you're saying, okay, no, I'm gonna create something else now. I'm gonna create a new reality. I'm gonna start telling a different story. I'm not gonna just reaffirm that this is what it is. I mean, it is what it is, but that doesn't have to be the story I tell. Like, when people ask me how I'm doing, at some point I got tired of being like, man, New York's kind of hard for me. Like, I want to start a new thing. What's my new sentence? I don't know, but I have a hard time being like, oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, ask me how I'm doing and I might just lay it out for you. And how are you doing?
Yeah.
I think last time we spoke, on some levels, I felt like everything was great. I was really grateful for the opportunity to come back to LA and lead my second weekend retreat. And I mean, just the ability to reconnect with my community back there in that way is such a personal party for me. And thinking about my experience in New York as like straight up being just challenging. And also loving Mark so much, and also not being as great as I want to be as a partner. Like, okay, so when you're with a friend, sometimes you can see things about them that they have a harder time seeing. So when you're in a partnership and that person is helping you see the little pitfalls or like the pigeonholes that you put yourself in, and like the way you show up as your best self and the way you're not showing up as your best self, and sometimes you're like, I don't know why I'm not coming to terms with that. And also just it is what it is. Like, I don't have the discipline right now to meditate every day, and like, what does that mean? I'm just like, I don't know. I guess just being real about this. There's no formula. We're just figuring it out. The best thing you can ask for is someone who's gonna feel that out with you and not do anything to just create that space with you, because I think the sacredness of a partnership offers healing. And that you're able to, like, that's part of the role that you have, is that you're able to grow to a place where you can offer each other beautiful healing. There's a romance to the falling in love of it. There's a romance, but then there's the reality of, like, this person is going to be imperfect. This person may disappoint me. I'm going to disappoint this person somehow. It's really nice to be with a partner who is not like a scoundrel. Like, just being able to trust him and know that he's not going to be doing anything to dishonor me is such a privilege. And I worked hard to get there. I went through a lot of shit to get to a place where I knew that I deserved I had enough self-respect to be with a man who had so much integrity. And in that place, I realized, oh, okay, the little faults that he and I have, no, they're not little. They don't feel little, but they're not like damaging. Like, we're not doing something to hurt one another when we have a personal hiccup. So that feels deeply personal to be sharing that. But what I want to say is, in a relationship, when you feel like, man, why aren't I doing better at, like, why isn't this easier or something? It's because this is tremendous growth, because this is a tremendous growth opportunity, and you're either going to, in each moment, decide to be strong or take some time to get strong. But if you decide to opt out, that's your decision. Yeah, at any point, anyone can either regress to a smaller place, free fall to a smaller place, or just decide to stay put until the clarity comes. And I think it's okay to feel lost at times. It's okay to just not really know what to do. And if you can make certain decisions to reduce your suffering as a human, if there are things that you can do to choose to be really self-loving and reduce your own suffering, do it. For me, those things are laughing, dancing to loud music, and like letting go, and meditating and praying. Showing up to dance, showing up in some sort of community element where you're able to connect with another human, showing up for your best self in meditation, honoring your body in that way. I mean, just choosing to have self-respect and having enough self-respect to say no to things that aren't in service to you, or that aren't what you want.
What place, I don't know if you can speak for Mark, obviously, but what place are you guys in right now?
We're in a blissful place right now. I'm happy to say that I have been blessed with a wonderful partner, and love is a real thing that has a romantic beginning and a profound ability to heal. You know how everyone has their shit? Like, everyone has shit. Everyone has their shit. Nobody doesn't have shit. And we're all carrying around our little bags of shit. My friend Mitch said that the other day. He's like, yeah, it's like we're all carrying around our little bags of shit. And so that's just such a gift that you can give a friend or a partner, is by saying, I see you and I love you, and I'm not going to judge you in this moment as to whether you're getting it right or not. In my eyes, we're all just figuring this out.
Also, it's nice to have somebody that says, I see your bag of shit, why are you choosing to carry it around?
Yeah, but I mean, I also think it's okay, so like I'll share that one of my pieces of shit is that I had to learn how to trust all over again. Like, I had so much trust as my young self, and I think I was in a number of situations where that trust was dropped or betrayed or taken advantage of. And so now I'm in a place where I'm learning to soften to that again, and I'm so grateful to have a partner that's holding my hand and letting me walk that and letting me heal that. And I may never get to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, it's not there anymore. But it's like, as I walk my life, I'm taking steps towards getting better. And I want so much to get better. Like, I'm just like, yes, like, I want to be better. Do you ever feel like you don't want to get better? Or like it's scary to get better?
Sometimes I don't know if I'm strong enough to. Sometimes I'm like, I keep circling back to this. I've circled back to this so many times. Like, when will I move on from this place?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm strong enough to.
Yeah, there have been moments I've just straight up felt like a broken individual. Like, shit, I'm just fucked up.
Yeah, but the thing is that I'll think, and this is because I haven't met anybody and I don't get asked out very often. I'm like, there's something that's wrong with me. Like, I'll start, those are negative when I'm feeling really negative.
Yeah.
but you're with somebody and you think there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. It's just when those types of thoughts come to my mind, I have to actively speak out loud positive things over myself.
Yes.
Like, Colleen, you are beautiful. Things like that, you know?
Yes.
To make myself come back to a place of, these are not truths.
Okay, so I don't know this for sure, but I kind of think that everybody has felt those feelings before. Like, something's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I'm glad that we are talking right now about the reality of feeling like a broken person or like something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Just that this is an aspect of the human ego. And I have so much love for that piece in all of us. Like, I want to, like, it's just a real thing. So it's like, if you're feeling that, you won't feel that way forever.
I feel like something I'm afraid of like getting into. First of all, I think that we all want to be with somebody, and we all want to, like, to become one.
Yeah.
I think we all want that.
Yeah.
The process, I mean, it's two individuals coming together.
Yeah.
There's going to be growing pains.
Yeah.
Like, two becoming one.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds painful. Some part of it sounds painful. Part of it sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I am afraid of being with somebody and there being arguing.
Right.
I can't do it. It's even thinking about it now exhausts me, and it makes me think whoever I'm with, even if we are just dating, I need that person to be gentle. I can't do arguing. I can't do pushback.
Yeah.
Like, I need someone who's gonna sharpen me and cause me to rise.
Yeah.
To want to rise. But I think it's gonna be through love and gentleness. I don't think it can be somebody who is, like, if I don't feel like the person is for me, it is just gonna crush me.
Guess what?
What?
You have to have compassion for that other imaginary person that you're thinking of right now, because that person may just have to learn that with you. That person is going to have to go through their own learning of how to argue with Colleen. When an argument needs to happen,
like, it'll just make me cry. If someone just starts arguing with me, I will shut down, I will cry, and I will walk away.
Then you and that person will have to up-level to a place where you feel differently about what an argument is. Because you're going to have a difference in opinion, and you're going to have moments where like there's a behavior or a mood or a volume that it's not okay. And so then you're just going to have to say, I want to feel differently about this. And if you can have a healthy, loving fight where an issue is being brought up and it feels bad, but you can look at that and say, this we're sorting something out here.
Yeah.
Instead of, this shouldn't be happening. This is bad. Like, that person's having to learn with you what you need and how to do it with you. Yeah, so you can't just say, like, you can't just point the finger at some hypothetical person or the partner that you're with and say, this person isn't right for me because they do this. Because they're just two people growing. They're just two people figuring it out. And every single person is capable of growing and refining and becoming a better and better and better partner and a better friend and a better advocate and a better lover. When we have the stuff that comes up in us, like our triggers, the things that hurt, the things that are deep-seated, if you can be met in those moments where, like, if you're feeling triggered and that person can meet you with compassion, that is next level. When that person that you're dealing with doesn't meet you with frustration, they actually meet you with compassion, then all of a sudden the door is opened for healing. And you're no longer at that level anymore. And it can be really frustrating because that person, like, enough is enough at point, you know, where it's like you can't just put up with someone's triggers constantly. They have to be willing to take steps towards healing and towards growth. Mm-hmm. But you also have to be willing to take steps towards healing and growth, and you have to meet them with love. That's the ultimate gift. Oh my gosh, what a gift you can give someone by loving them in those moments. Until those moments become further and farther between, and softer and softer and softer.
I like that you said someone's triggers, they have to be willing to move and grow from that. I think that's the boundary. I have a hard time with boundaries, or knowing, because my tendency is just to want to give and give and give and give. And then all of a sudden what will happen is, I'm probably not going to use any of this in this, but whatever. We'll just see what we get. All of a sudden, Kristen, what will happen is all of a sudden I'll feel like pissed. Like the boundary has been crossed. It's been crossed for a very long time, but I'm just realizing it.
Okay.
And at that point, I'm like, how did the boundary get crossed? And how did I not know? You know, it's like having a moat and being in a castle. And the moat at some point was stormed. The castle was stormed. And I never knew it, you know? It's like, how does that happen? But I think what you just said is really good about, you know, if someone is constantly triggered by certain things, but they're not willing to move forward and grow from it, or to even say, I'm constantly getting triggered with this and I'm going to move, like them saying that to themselves. That's like a good boundary, I think.
Well, and hopefully you feel that your partner is not a threat in that vulnerable place. Like if you're in the castle and your moat's been stormed.
Yeah, it's going to take a really special person for me to be with.
Well, someone told me a while ago to just begin to, because someone's making their way to you, and that you can, even from now, talk to him and say, hey, just want you to know that I bless you in your journey, whoever you are, and I trust that you're making your way. And I'm making my way too. You know, you can just send little loving wishes.
Yeah, I don't know. I did start
kind
doing some of that, because you had encouraged me last time we talked. You had mentioned I started a journal, and I write some things to that person.
Oh, cool.
It's a journal for the person. Like I'll write them little letters sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you also write as your future self?
No, I write as the present, I say things to them like, you're never going to believe what happened to me today. Where are you? I say things like that. Like, I went out with this person today who I thought maybe liked me, but it turned out they like drugs a lot. Where are you?
I'd like to challenge you to write as your future self, as though that person's already at your side.
Oh, okay.
And as though you have all that you think you don't have right now.
Yeah. Instead of a place of lack.
Yeah.
Okay. The first time we interviewed, you had mentioned that Los Angeles is the place that you go to burn. And I brought that up to you last night, whether you still feel that way about it. And you said Los Angeles is where you go to be refined.
Or Los Angeles is where you go to burn. And New York is where you
go to get cut.
You go to like as a diamond, you go to get polished. Like you go to get tumbled as a gem into a diamond, but you're up against a whole lot of other diamonds, so you're just like polishing each other. And I was told that by somebody, because I think I posted on Facebook the day I like pulled out of Los Angeles, and I was like, see you later, furnace, or something like. This is where I came to burn. And then someone said, well, New York is where, as a diamond, you come to shine. Like, if you can't cut it here, it's fine. But you got to kind of work to, like, make it through. There's an improv exercise where, okay, so, like, if you were a level 1 person, how would you, like, okay, so from an emotional spectrum of, like, 1 to 10, if you were at a level 5, how would you walk? How would you talk? What would your body language be? And if you were at a level 10, how would that look? I think it would be really cool to have a disciplined enough practice as myself to be like, oh, I'm not feeling so great right now, but I'm just going to shift to be my level 10 self. And I think that to be in New York, it requires me to be at my level 10 self more often to feel like I'm thriving here.
Kristen, thank you so much.
It's truly been a year.
Do you maybe want to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge today?
Oh my gosh, do you think we can do it?
I think if we take the train over to the bottom of the...
Are we going to record the whole time?
No.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it would be a good way to end with us saying, yeah, let's walk across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks to Kristen for her vulnerability, giving us a window into her life throughout an entire year. And thanks to Kristen and Mark for entrusting their story to me. I am truly honored. And if you're interested in taking a dance class with Kristen, attending one of her sound baths or retreats, or you just want to reach out and connect, you can find Kristen at feelsprettyawesome.com or on Instagram at feelsprettyawesome. You can also find links to these, as well as a link to Marianne Williamson's A Course in Miracles and information on UCB New York in this episode's show notes, listed on whatever platform you are currently listening to this podcast. Also, thanks to Will Baker, who didn't know me from Adam or from Eve, but on a recommendation from a friend, graciously housed me for an entire week during the making of this episode. Thank you, Will. I am forever grateful to you. And while I'm at it, I should probably thank the friends who connected me to Will. So thank you to Nick Borges and Maureen Morrison. And thank you to Dean Gorman, who patiently helped me craft the intro and the outro of this episode, as well as offering listening support and critical ears. This episode of Mostly Minutia was recorded on location in Washington Square Park in New York City and edited in LA River Park while eating a sandwich from wax paper, coincidentally named Terry Gross.